I think the story is going to start way back when we first saw this deer. It would have been probably 2013, I think.
2013 was the first encounter with this deer.
Yeah.
And this was shot
2016, October 29th.
Okay.
Wow.
Yep. First time we had seen this deer hunting just inside the edge of Beanfield, right out where we all hunt for a long time. Right at last light, it's just getting into that gray light. Couple of does and a giant 3-point walks out into this field, and I'm just kind of watching him, and Dad's hunting up about 150 yards from me, and he's got to walk past me so we can get back to the house. And I normally just sit there and stay until Dad's by, and then we walk back together.
All right, just real quick for context.
Yeah.
This was what time of year?
This would have been probably early October.
And okay. And what was planted in the field?
Bean.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Which had already been taken.
And was he coming from a bedding area on property or
off property, off to the would have been the east side.
Okay. All right.
Of the bean field. So he's coming in from the east. I'm just kind of chilling there watching him, waiting for Dad to start walking up behind me, and then I'll start climbing down the tree, and then I finally start hearing Dad, and he's doing his deer walk because he doesn't want to spook deer. He's doing his deer walk, and I'm thinking, you know what? I really don't want to blow these deer out of the field. I want deer to stay local.
Mm-hmm.
So without thinking about it much, I just grabbed my grunt tube because I don't want to shout, hey, we got deer out in the field. Don't spook them.
Yeah.
So I grabbed my grunt tube and I just let out a grunt. And Dad sees it, and I just deer up in the field.
Yeah, sign language.
And from about 35 yards, he gets the message, and he just kind of hangs out. Well, what I didn't realize when I blew the grunt call, the 3-point up the field, took that as a challenge. And he had been chasing around these does quite a bit, and he just came running straight down that hill right into the woods and gets about 10 yards from Dad. Dad kind of tucks in behind this 4-inch maple sapling and is just kind of just standing there waiting to see what this deer is going to do. I'm still up in my stand looking at all this from 30 yards going, I might have to shoot this deer. He's going to start trying to stab Dad. And after about 5 minutes, this deer gives up and walks away and goes back up. It's just this real mad, just aggressive personality. This deer's always had that.
So was he sitting there like grunting or stomping his feet?
Oh yeah. He was hoofing the ground. His head was down.
Okay.
He let out a couple snort wheezes. It was wild to watch.
Agitated deer.
Oh yeah.
How old do you think he was then?
First time seeing him, year and a half.
Really, that aggressive, that young?
Yeah, I mean,
That's crazy.
he really was. Caught him again sporadically on trail cam throughout the next 3 years, and he was not a local buck. We'd catch him, that heavy chasing rut where they're traveling, they're running around looking for does. That's when we would get him on trail cam, and we had gotten him the night before, or 2 nights before I wound up shooting him. But fast forward from that 3-point story, 3 years, it's now the morning of October 29th. Dad just got down to Ohio the night before, so we're kind of catching up in the morning, drinking a cup of coffee in the garage, and we happen to look out the window and we're like, oh crap, it's already getting light out. We're late getting to our stands because we've just been talking. So we slam the coffee, make a beeline down the hill. He goes down into the valley to go to his favorite spot. I make a beeline back up around the field to get to my stand, and coming down the back property line, there's a tree line there, and I busted buck and a doe out of the tree line. I'm thinking, man, it's already almost past gray light at this point. We're starting to get into shooting light.
Yeah.
Like I am late.
Yeah.
I need to get to my stand now. So I almost jog up and down and get back up into my stand. I get to my stand, I get set, I get strapped in, I get my bow hung, and I shoot Dad a text, because that's something we always do when we're up and down. We shoot a text just to let him know we got up safe. So I shoot Dad a text, and they said, hey, up in my stand, ready to go. I no sooner hit send, I hear deer start running through the woods. I'm like, got a buck chasing a doe, this is going to be sweet. So I look, and I'm like, okay, shooter 8-point, I start trying to figure out exactly where this doe is going to lead this buck through, and she winds up bringing him in from my left side. So I'm facing north. They're coming in east, and I need to turn around and face south in order to get a shot. So when she's about at my 4 o'clock, 4:30, I start making the turnaround and I draw as I make the turn. So now I'm facing south, and I lost sight of the doe, but the buck is 20 yards, stopped behind a tree, behind a poplar tree, right behind the vitals. I'm like, okay, I just gotta wait for him to come out. I'm like, where's this doe at?
Were you drawn back?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep. So I'm drawn. I know I can't move. And then I kind of look down over the tops of my cheeks, and she is standing at the base of my tree.
Oh, man.
I don't think I knew that part.
Oh, this is not good. They stand there for 4 minutes. Okay. Now, keep in mind, I'm shooting a bow from 2004. I've got a 70-pound draw weight. I got a 65% let off, and I got to hold it for 4 minutes.
Please.
I'm literally locking my wrist behind my head to take some of the weight off. It was bad, and I'm kind of periodically looking down to check her to see if she's getting kind of funny, if she wants to move, because I know if she bolts, he's gone too.
Yeah.
So I need to do everything I can not to spook her. He probably wouldn't give a crap about me, but my goal is to not spook her.
Yeah, 29th of October, he's only thinking about one thing.
Right.
So I'm waiting for him to step out, and he's doing nothing but staring at her. She's debating whether she wants to kind of give in or if she wants to keep running. And I kind of look down again, and that's when I realized deer have white on the backside of their eyeballs because she's looking straight up at me. Boom. Crap. And to my surprise, she doesn't move a muscle. She looks back at him. She takes 3 steps, which was enough to get him to walk out from behind that tree. 21 yards, broadside, smoked him. I mean, it's the second he's well, I shouldn't say the second he stopped, because I stopped him, but because I had been at full draw, my adrenaline's now pumping. I'm losing all control of the buck fever.
Yeah.
The calm and quiet bleh that it should have been turned out. So I'm like, it was not pretty.
Please don't run.
It was
Goose
bad.
up here in the tree.
And I think I scared him more than got his curiosity. But he stopped, smoked him 20 yards. I knew it was a good shot. I don't know where the heck she went, but he wound up turning south, running down and across the creek from where I could see and out of view. I'm just a wreck, because I'm thinking it's a good shot, but it's a big deer. He could run for a while. I'm just the worst is automatically playing.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I need to calm down. Reach in my pocket. I text Dad, hey, just shot a really nice 8-point. He says, all right, cool. Well,
It was apparently Kyle's bad at math and his freestand.
Yeah, and apparently in classes. Shot a really nice 8-point. I'm going to hang out here. You keep hunting because they're on their feet. We'll give them an hour or so. So I'm there 5 more minutes, and the spike comes in. So the spike busts me. So I'm like, I'm just going to get out of here because I don't want to blow this out for Dad. If these deer are this much on their feet right now, I just need to get that guy.
Well,
out of here.
not only that, you didn't know if he was still on his feet and about to get carried off by another deer running.
Yep. So I backed out. I went up to the top of the hill. We had a little bench sitting on the back tree line. I sat there for like an hour and a half. I'd called you. I'd called my wife.
Yeah, I was actually on my motorcycle heading to Wayne National Forest just to go right around for the day because I wasn't as into bow hunting then.
Yeah.
What year was this?
Cool.
2016.
Okay.
I got the fever in 19.
There you go.
18, 19. But 19's when the hook got set.
There you go.
So waited for them to come out. Once we were all up at the top of the hill, Dad had gotten down out of his tree stand. We walked back down, found first blood. Looked really good. Didn't find the arrow right away. Walked probably 30 yards-ish. Not quite to the creek crossing. Found the arrow. And as we're coming up the bank, Dane's about 10 yards in front of everybody. And all of a sudden, I hear, "You lying son of a bitch." And my first reaction was, okay, he found it. It must be dead. Woohoo. And I'm like, what is he talking about? Because as soon as I saw the doe and the buck running at me first thing, I recognized it's a shooter. And I saw stuff up here, but I figured because he's busting through the woods, he's carrying sticks. He's just all tangled up and nasty and whatever. After he got in close, I never looked at that again. I was trying to focus on her and making sure he stepped out behind that tree when I needed him to. And Dane found him, called me a liar, and we walked up to him.
Well,
and
that's
we
not
started-
an 8-point.
No, it's not. It's not even a mainframe 8, which apparently I do need glasses. But he wound up dressing at just under 280 pounds.
Wow,
Absolute
that's a tank.
Big deer.
That's about
stud.
probably close to 330, 340 on the hoof.
Yeah, he's an absolute stud. I never actually had him officially dry scored, but he grossed wet at 178.
He's every bit of 170.
Yeah.
I did not have a reference for your face until I proposed to Casey. You finding
Oh my
this
gosh.
deer as is was the same face she had when I got down on one knee.
I could not believe it. I never would imagine he would have had eye guards
Oh,
like
yeah,
an
he's a
actual,
stud, dude.
like elk.
So what is the official count on the points?
16.
16.
That's
yes.
what I was just
16
counting a second ago.
Michigan points. I know that can go back and forth,
So-
but I have taken my wedding ring and I've hung them on everything I can, and it's 16.
This has always been the wit set / field to food rule. If you can hang a ring from it,
Yeah.
it counts as a.
Oh, it's a lot more than just you guys. I've heard that. The Michigan rule, West
Statewide.
Virginia, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
This whole little pocket up here is like, if you can hang a ring on it, it counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, never did I expect to walk up on a deer of that caliber. And I know that I may not shoot another one the rest of my life like that. And if that's the case, I will still die an ecstatic hunter.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
age class wise, I bet you can fall in that.
Oh, age
this
class, sure.
much character.
Yeah.
That one's going to be
Yeah.
tough to match.
Yep.
Yeah. He's got long main beams.
Yeah.
He's got mass, his brow tines, let alone all that stuff coming off the bases.
Yeah.
He's everything you want in a deer.
Oh,
when you think of a
absolutely.
deer,
Yeah.
like that's what you think of every time.
One of my goals has always been to shoot a drop tine buck. You know, just one of those just classic drops coming off the main.
You kind of got it.
And I got elk eye guards. I mean, that's
Yeah.
even better.
So, just for reference for our viewers here at home, we're probably at work on lunch, which is what I think most of our content is being watched. But so you only had 2 in-person contacts with this deer.
Yeah.
That was the only 2 encounters.
Very first sighting, and then the day that I shot him.
Okay.
Yep.
Which is personally how I like it. I like
Yeah.
being surprised by a deer.
I think, if I remember right, Dad had seen this deer the night before. He was just about to get out of his stand again, that gray light in the evening, and we're thinking this is the one that walked up over the hill and under him, but it was too dark for him to get a shot.
Same property, so
Yeah.
yeah.
And what's wild is I waited a couple of weeks to post pictures, and after I posted pictures, a guy that we went to high school with who lived about 10 miles away messaged me and says, I've been hunting that deer for 2 years. And I knew where he was. He was 10 miles from our farm.
And which is far.
Yeah.
That's far for a buck to go.
Yeah.
Especially multiple times.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've always heard rumor, and like I don't know if like the legitimacy behind all this, that bucks will travel back to the woods they were born in during the rut. A lot of bucks will do that. So he might have been born, and then another thing I've heard is button bucks will get pushed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he might have been born around your guys' property and then got pushed out, and then every year around that late October, early November timeframe, he would come back to rut and then leave again.
But which actually makes a lot of sense.
Because I have bucks that do that on my place that my buddy gets on his camera during the rut, mile and a half down the road.
Right.
Well, so as we were talking pre-camera being turned on, which makes this whole point next just a little bit more interesting, is that this was a shed that I found on the same property.
Yep.
I wish I could remember what year, but you and I didn't even put these puzzle pieces together until after I had this and after you had that.
Yeah.
That there's a shed from that property that has the start of what's going to be his swanky little eye guard setup. And you were holding it up earlier,
and
and
kind of stretch it up there. I mean, once you see it up there, you
The genetics,
kind of hard to.
genetics are there
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. And it was right around the same time frame that I found that. I mean, all the small sheds that I find, I typically just toss in a boxer at the base of one of my stands in the trophy room. But that has always been hanging up there since I built the podcast wall. And I was actually looking for it earlier. I was like, where did I put that thing? Yeah, of course, there it was.
Yep.
So I have some follow-up questions, but I want you guys to dig into the story a little bit more first, because I'm sure you two both have a lot of questions for him.
I've just been, I looked at it at your house. I've just been staring at him, imagining what you felt once you had him down.
once I knew he was down, it was a big sigh of relief. You know, you always get that anxiety from the moment you pull the trigger, whether bow or gun, to the moment you find him.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
because you know it's just the uglier side of hunting, that game loss is a reality, and when finally getting up to put your hands on him, it soothes all of that.
Was this the year you got married or year after?
Year after.
Okay. Right, Carly? Right?
16, got married in 15. You know, it walking up on him, because it had been a decent amount of time, an hour or two. You know, the buck fever was already gone, the adrenaline was down.
Yeah.
You know, then it was just it was excitement and relief to be able to find him, to be able to know that we are going to be able to take this deer in, eat his meat, and of course mount him, because it's the biggest deer I've ever shot.
Oh yeah.
So you said earlier, what was the gross score on him?
178 wet.
That's big.
Big deer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big deer.
That's about 70 inches bigger than the one I brought. That's cool.
Yep.
Well, Kyle T, you got any questions?
Do you remember any of the measurements on him, as far as like mass, beam
I
length, time length?
don't. The guy that scored him was actually the taxidermist that mounted him.
The mount's beautiful.
Oh, he does phenomenal work.
Did it
Was that
gorgeous.
Pineywood?
Yeah.
So that was Pineywood.
Yeah, it's out by me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten all my big mounts are done by Tom. He's awesome.
You know, he shut down now, right?
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
They're done.
Yeah, they retired. They're enjoying it now.
I knew he was talking about retiring last time I was in there, which was a few years ago.
Yeah, I called him about getting a couple squirrels done.
Oh, really?
And I got the thank you for your business for the past 40 years
Oh yeah.
voicemail. Yeah,
Oh, no kidding.
yeah.
I feel like you're handy enough. You can figure out how to mount a squirrel.
You've tanned stuff before.
I've not great. I belong on the bad meat eater calendar.
I'll tell you what. I have a squirrel at the house. I'll bring in sometime.
Oh,
I've never seen a flock squirrel with a neck, but I have one. No, he's just
super unique.
yeah.
He really is.
He's unique, but almost at the same time, he's almost symmetrical.
Yeah.
If you take away the eye
Yeah,
guards,
he's missing a G3 on this side, or a
G4.
G4.
His brows are, God, that one's so thick.
Well,
It's like a knife.
that's always been my favorite part is the blade and the brow tines.
Yep.
I'm a sucker for big brow tines.
Yeah,
I have to.
Yeah,
I'll take big brow tines over with
any day.
Any day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel the same way.
But his G3s are enormous.
Yeah.
That one's like a cigar. Hey, he's got good mass all the way throughout the end of his beams. Mm-hmm. His beams are long.
He was 5 when you shot him, or 6?
I think he was 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think he was 4.
I think he's as old
Which
as he's gonna get.
We were, we back then we weren't as big into the age management as much as we were just trying to.
This deer, from what I remember, is we started turning those tables.
Yeah, we had been trying for years to start managing the herd, and this was like getting to see some product out of it. You know, we had really started to see some big deer.
Yeah.
But this is one of the biggest deer that we had seen up to that point.
Oh yeah.
I've shot some big deer off that property,
Oh, yeah.
and they do not touch that 178.